Today on What Went Wrong, we introduce you to the Bitter Filmmakers, tell you who they are, and why you should give a
Hello and welcome to What Went Wrong, the show that discusses filmmaking with independent filmmakers who made all the mistakes so you don't have to. I'm Kelly Coughlin with the Bitter Filmmakers, Brett Mauser and Bradley Bates. So today we're going to talk about who they are, their background, and what they can teach you. So guys, why should they listen to what you have to say?
It's the experience that we went through. We didn't create the best films, but we did find what not to do.
We had fun doing it.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Entertainment value was great.
Yeah. We did, we made over 30 feature films.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're at 35 or 36.
Series, 100-something
commercials.
30-something music videos.
Over 50 music videos. And, we have won awards, and that's what I will say. We've received distribution. We've gotten on Blockbuster
We actually
shelves.
got money from it, too.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, we actually made some money.
Distribution with money.
Yeah.
So Brett, what went wrong?
Everything. Oh, that's your question.
Yeah, that'd be my question. I can everything. Well, yeah, everything. We got into this. First of all, big one. I think we didn't have any money. Never had any money. I know that what a lot of people say. Well, why didn't you just all that money that you spent on 30 feature films? Why didn't you just save that up and put it into one big one? Because it still wouldn't have helped.
Well, think about this. You spent all this time making all these 30. That's kind of practice. You wouldn't have, if you saved all the money to make one good one, you wouldn't have had that practice to make, even if you had the money to make a good one. Because you hadn't made all the mistakes yet. All the stupid stuff that went wrong, you're like, okay, now we know how to deal with that.
Yeah. We didn't, you didn't have the money to buy the proper equipment. We never had crew. I was, we had you and a couple other people that were PAs here and there.
Well, there were times where it was just me and you, and I'd be holding light and microphone and camera. And you'd be talking, and then all right, we're going to swap it there. You hold all this and I'll talk.
When you have other independent filmmakers and they'll say, look, oh, this is horrible, this is bad, or you get any kind of bad criticism, bad reviews, you're talking about comparing us to films that had one specific person that was set on audio, and they focused on audio, and that's all they did. And then this person was good with lighting, and they worked on lighting for years.
$50 million.
Yeah. Basically, there I am. My concept of lighting was people would say, "Hey, Brett, how's the lights? Can you see the actors?" Yes. Action. Overall, but what went wrong, just in general, was lack of money, and I think honestly, we went. This is going to sound really weird, but we went too far for what we were doing. Yeah. We were practicing. We were just trying to make some films and figure out how to do all this, and then we started selling films. I had actually gone to a convention in Vegas.
We were selling films that we didn't expect to see the light of day because they were just like stupid stress relievers or just practice.
Yeah, I went to a Vegas convention and where we were to meet with all these distributors, and I asked, hey, what are you looking for? What do you want? If we have no money, what kind of films are you buying?
Cheesy horror films?
Horror films or Latino drug action films. So I made a horror Latino drug action film. And it sold. And that was Barrio Angels. We sold that film, and then they called like a month after we sold it and said, what else do you have?
So we gave them 2 more.
And we had Cartel Killers, remember? And we had actually shot Barrio Angels before then, and this was the biggest steaming pile of that, we didn't even have lights on this film. And we were
looked like it was shot on a VHS camera.
It was that bad.
So
and we didn't have lights on that movie at all.
And it sold?
And it sold because
I think the microphone, wasn't it just like right
it was on the camera. It was just we had the camera mic all the way up until Ballerina.
Yeah.
But I remember going through that and saying, "Oh God, here's this piece of crap." And they're going to put it on Blockbuster shelves with my name on it.
They're never going to buy it from us again.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, but it's $10,000. I can pay the actors. So it's sort of that, okay, well, what do we do? And we just made the decision, again, for the actors,
Well, then
this way they can
the
get paid on
to
this.
complete the trilogy. So
Yeah, then we spit out
that
the
one.
other one for the third one to sure. But that I think that's what went wrong was we were taken too seriously when we weren't trying to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
We were learning, we were trying to figure it out, and next thing you know, we're being held up against
Yeah, they
all these other
expect us to
filmmakers.
be like professional, like coming out of California with a $50 million budget. And I was like, you can't compete with that. You got $20 in a Kit Kat. That's it.
Yeah.
Knowing the correct terms on a movie set can help you communicate with your crew. A camera tilt pivots the camera up or down while the camera stays stationary. A pedestal is moving the camera up or down while the angle stays stationary. A zoom is a change in the focal length. The camera stays stationary while the lens does the work. A dolly is moving the camera towards or away from the subject. A truck is moving the camera left or right. And finally, a pan keeps the camera stationary while it turns left or right on its axis. I'm April Cook, and this has been your What Went Wrong Quick Tip.
So, Brad, how did the lack of money hurt your films?
We try to do too much with too little. We didn't have the money for the special effects, so we tried to do what we could. So of course it ends up looking cheesy, so we just turn it into a cheesy film. Which I think is funny. I like cheesy films. Cheesy films get good, laughter. And that's what we're going for a lot of the stuff is some cheese factor. And then the problem is that sometimes your audience expects you to be serious and they don't get that you're doing something stupid for the hell of it.
Mm-hmm.
So money, lack of good actors, lack of good crew, lack of equipment, lack of locations.
And that all would be solved. I think that all goes back to money. That all that could be
All
solved
back
with
to money.
with money. But in that aspect, I don't regret it because we can look back and we can say, look at all the between the short films, the feature films. Look at all these stories that we did tell. We told a lot of stories rather than sitting around and waiting to come up with money for one film and tell one story.
Well, and the problem with that is when you have a lack of money, you have to compromise on the story as well because, okay, you have a scene that you need to get shot because you don't have any freaking money, so you got to get it done. And this actor only has 2 hours or 4 hours to shoot, so you got to get it done no matter what, whether it's crap or not. You're just like, well, fuck, we just got to deal with it. So a lot of the stories suffered because we couldn't just do another take or schedule it for another time because the weather sucked or some actor didn't show up, so we just replaced him with a background actor.
and there
That's
were
how I
times,
got in the films. Don't judge that.
yeah. Oh, there were times where they one person didn't show up. They decided to go to Mexico with their parents instead. Next thing I know, I've got this character that was scheduled to be the secretary that had one
And
line.
didn't warn us.
Is in 3 movies. Yeah. Yeah.
Wrong girl.
Hey, what about the other girl?
Oh, she's in Mexico.
So, Brett, did anything go right with your films?
There are little bits here and there, and I think every aspect that we did, there were these moments here and there that did go right, and to just nail it down into one.
Oh, like flipping that car and
thing.
setting it on fire. Well, that fire was an accident, but
Yeah.
But it turned out good for the movie.
Yeah. Accidentally blowing stuff up was always
that was awesome.
Yeah.
So, Brad, is there anything about your films that you're proud of?
Our movies were so crappy, good, that they would rip them off and actually pay to have new actresses and stuff put on the covers in Thailand. There was one in a bazaar in Baghdad Bazaar, and there was Russians. They would steal our movies.
They were
and
pirated.
put new covers on them.
They were pirated, and the new covers were always more
They were
awesome.
They were
than
better.
the ones the
The
distributors
new covers
did.
with the new actresses looked more awesome because they had helicopters and like they'd watch the movies. Like, there's no helicopters in this movie. In the middle of a war, our movie was in the middle of
in
a
the middle of
bazaar in
Iraq
Baghdad.
War. Our movies
Sitting
were
on a
sitting
table
there.
with one of those little holy blankets. You know those little blankets that get the holes all through them. Sitting on a table.
They were pirating our films to the troops. Patriotism.
That's right. We're supporting our troops.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We were dubbed in Thai. That was awesome.
That was awesome. Actually, hearing myself speak Russian was awesome.
Что? Что я сказал?
Послушай, я тебе расскажу. Думаешь, у меня есть какая-то система, а? Хорошо, хорошо, это, конечно, лучше, чем играть вообще без системы. Да, вот ты сказал, или это будет бумага.
Ты всегда показываешь камень, приятель. Пока.
But they always had like the voice actors. There was like one male guy and one female guy, so he would play all the parts, and they didn't change their voice at all. Wow, it's pretty funny. I think there was 2 male actors in that.
Yeah, there was two males and one female. And she played that.
That's all for the premiere episode of What Went Wrong. We hope you've gotten to know the Bitter Filmmakers just a little bit better. In upcoming episodes, they'll not only reveal some of the dark secrets of independent filmmaking, but they'll give you special tips, tricks, and how-to tutorials, and even address their harshest reviews. If you have questions for the Bitter Filmmakers, leave them in the comments below and we'll address them in the future episodes. And of course, don't forget to subscribe.